My next guest is another beautiful lady called Johann Callaghan. Joanne is an author, a sleep expert, and a health and wellness coach. I have known Joanne over 5 years now and have listened to her speak many times, and she's just amazing as well. She helps to educate and help us live a happier, healthier life with better sleep. So thank you, Joanne, for taking time to come today to talk to us, and looking forward to hearing your chat on sleep.
Oh, Joan, to know something, I've been waiting for this moment all day. I love speaking about sleep. I love helping to empower people to really take control of their lives again, and you've such a great lineup of speakers, and it's all speaking into holistic living, really, and that's what it's all about. And it's all about empowering ourselves, because yes, there's doctors there and they have their place. But like when you listen to Bailey's story, and her mother and her friend went off and found information and empowered themselves, that's just incredible. And who I am is somebody who really empowers people and encourages people to go and find out information about how you can live a healthy life. And there's so many factors involved in that. We've heard yoga, we've heard Suzanne talk about all about the microbiome, and Louise talked about toxins. There's so many toxins everywhere in the environment, from air, the water we're drinking, the food we're eating. A lot of our food is depleted now, wrapped in plastic, BPAs, all the microplastics, even in our water. So this all has an impact on our bodies and how well we can manage stress. And it comes back to sleep. And really, I say to people, what, sleep problems that people have, it's not necessarily about sleep itself. It's really about the whole lifestyle and our attitude towards life, so we need to really wake up, like we are responsible for who we are. We're all individuals and we all have preferences. It's very important to have fun in life as well. So that comes down to your individual preference, and we all want to have energy, and we all want to enjoy life, but a good quality of life. And that really comes down to this cycle of managing our stress, which will enable us to relax, to be able to wind down, which will have us go to sleep quite easily and stay asleep during the nighttime. So that's what this is all about. It's all holistic. And I love that you have all these different people on speaking about all the different factors. And I'm going to speak into some what the other speakers spoke about as well earlier on. I'm going to share my screen, hopefully if I can share it there. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the immune system in particular, because you can see my screen there, yeah?
Yes.
Fantastic. We're living in a world now at the moment, and we have this pandemic, and there's a lot of people who are worried and upset and stressed and everything. And in my opinion, there's not enough focus on strengthening our immune system. We're been told to wear our masks, and we're told to do the distancing and all of this. And, in my opinion, yes, do all that, whatever, you wash your hands, but something, we've seen the figures that if you have a very strong immune system, it's not going to adversely affect you. Okay, when we've seen the figures. So how can we do this effectively? Yes, eating the right foods, nutritional foods, real foods, plants in particular, the antioxidants. We really need those antioxidants in our diet. But sleep, so many people don't even consider sleep as a major factor in strengthening your immune system. And I'm going to show you a few really startling statistics that will really surprise you how effective sleep is to boosting your immune system. And really, your immune system, don't underestimate it. It's your protector. It protects you from viruses, bugs, all sorts of things. Your immune system protects you against. And really, it's your first line of defense. And, it can get in through your gut, through your skin, and sleep can have a massive impact on the whole immune system. So let me just see if I can go down to the next screen. So let's have a look at why sleep is so important, first of all. So, and I'm conscious I've got 20 minutes, and I could stay here talking these all for hours. But look, just note down any questions that you have at the end. We'll do a quick 10-minute at the end. I'll just speak for 20 minutes, and do please note down any questions, because this is your time here now to get your questions answered. So why sleep is important? Well, we go through this physical restoration at nighttime. So this healing and repairing. So during the daytime, we're awake, we're active, we're in a catabolic state, which means we're using up energy and we're breaking down resources in our body. It's like when we go to the gym. When we go to the gym, we're breaking down that muscle. And the only way, with the intention of rebuilding it and making it stronger, but we actually need sleep as part of that process, because it's only when we're sleeping at nighttime when that muscle repairs and gets bigger. So physical restoration is a very big part of sleep at nighttime. All the healing and repairing, and we have to build ourselves back up again. So we're catabolic during the day and anabolic at nighttime. So those two distinct phases. So anabolic is building back up again. For information processing and memory. So a lot of people don't really associate sleep with memory, but we need a good night of sleep to get our short-term memory and condense that or consolidate it into our long-term memory. This only happens at nighttime when we're sleeping. So it's really important, and we have to go through all the different phases. I'm going to touch very quickly on the stages of sleep to help you give an appreciation. So memory, we need to clean the slate, if you like. We need to clear the brain to allow, and it's like your computer. If your computer fills up too much, it's not going to take in any more information, okay? And then pressing that save button on the computer is where it goes into long-term memory. So sleep is very important for that. Your mood, and we had Suzanne talking a lot about the gut, and with the gut, we have an awful lot of neurotransmitters in the gut, that are connected to our brain, and it's also connected to the whole sleep cycle. I'll talk a little bit about that later on. Strengthening the immune system, so I want to speak about that, and clearing the brain of toxins. This is something that's only been found through research in the last number of years. There is a process where it happens only at nighttime, where this cleaning process happens in the brain at nighttime. I think I have a slide on that. Now, the nervous system is really, we have all these different systems in our body, but the nervous system is primarily the instructor, if you like. It's like at the top. If you want to think of a hierarchy, the nervous system is at the top. It instructs all your other systems. When you don't get a good night's sleep, all the signaling in your nervous system slows down. So that's going to have an impact. But also, if you're operating machinery or driving a car, for example, and you haven't slept well the night before, your response to a child, say, for example, running out in front of the car, your response is going to be a lot slower. Okay, so this is how we're not going to be as sharp. We're going to be a lot slower during the daytime when we haven't, and all the other processes that the nervous system is involved in, it slows it all down. So this is the brain. So at nighttime, this is really amazing what happens at nighttime in the brain. So we talk about detoxification and cleaning. And detoxification is very, very important in our body. We need to clear out that garbage to allow for all the other processes, the growth and reproduction and all that sort of thing to be effective and optimized. So in the brain in particular, the brain has its own immune system, if you like. So the body has the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system is separate to your brain because we have the blood-brain barrier. And the purpose of the blood-brain barrier is the brain is very protective of itself, obviously, because it doesn't want any toxins going into the brain from the body. So it has its own lymphatic system. It's called the lymphatic system, named after the glial cells in the brain. Now, what happens at nighttime when we're unconscious, literally unconscious, right, in a deep phase of sleep, all these tissues shrink. And then we have the fluid, the cerebral spinal fluid comes in and literally washes and bathes the brain. But it cleans out this particular protein called beta amyloid. Now, the beta amyloid is associated with neurodegenerative diseases, in particular Alzheimer's. So it has been found in Alzheimer's patients, clusters of this beta protein. And this has only been discovered in the last 20 years or so. Sorry, I have a tickly throat. So this is really, really significant, a significant finding. Now, there's lots of other reasons for Alzheimer's developing, but this is very, very effective when it comes to slowing it down and possibly even eliminating it. So there's a study here. So people who complain of a lot of daytime sleepiness, this is in 2012, if they had a lot of restless nights or whatever, within 2 years of that, they were more likely to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And researchers now have noted that sleep problems were the single strongest early predictor of this form of dementia. Now, and I have studies, if anybody wants links to these studies, they can go and check them out, but there's lots of studies on this. Now in England, 850,000 people with dementia in the UK, and this is estimated to rise by 1.6 million by 2040. Imagine, and all in a good night's sleep. Now, Alzheimer's, could take up to 10 years to develop. So, there's a lot that could be going on, but we need to be able to clear out that brain, clean it out at nighttime. Obviously, minding our diet and all that other factors as well. But this is just significant, what the brain does at nighttime when we're asleep. Now, right now, as I said, there really is, there needs to be a focus on strengthening your immune system, because this is a single most effective thing that can help you to avoid any virus contraction or bacteria, or even if you do, that you get over it a lot quicker. Okay, your body responds and can fight it very quick. Now, this is from Dr. Matthew Walker. He wrote a book called Why We Sleep. He's a neuroscientist, and he says that if you sleep 4 to 5 hours in one night, your T cells, so your T cells are your killer cells, these are made at nighttime, they're reduced by up to 70%. I'll say that again in case you didn't hear me. If one night of sleep, 4 to 5 hours, your killer cells, this is part of your immune system, 70% reduction. Okay, so that's pretty significant. Now, the T cells are responsible for killing viruses. Viruses are sneaky little things, right? They actually get inside your cells. So it's a lot harder to detect. So these T killer cells can, and they literally destroy the whole cell. So it's quite significant. This is Dr. Michael Bruce. He says poor sleep was the #1 factor in determining whether someone would be sick after being exposed to a common cold virus. So you're more likely, and I have some statistics here, if you sleep 6 or fewer hours, you're 4 times more likely to catch a cold. And it also takes a lot longer to get over a cold if you're sleep deprived as well. Another interesting thing as well, just watching the time, another very interesting thing as well is if you go and get a vaccine, okay, you really need to make sure you're getting a good night of sleep the week before, like the whole week before. And there was a study done where they showed short sleep for 6 nights. So this is like 4 hours. This is a study they did. 4 hours of sleep they were only allowed to have for 6 nights. And then they were given their flu shot. And what they found was that they produced less than 50% of the antibodies. So it was practically not effective. So if you're getting any vaccines or flu shots, you really need to have good sleep a few nights before, a week perfect. You really need to have a good few nights of sleep before. So there you go. And that's in studies. There's studies showing that. So another thing as well that's going on is autoimmune diseases. There's hundreds of autoimmune diseases. And it has been shown again with lack of sleep, ongoing lack of sleep, it's associated with autoimmune diseases. And autoimmune diseases literally attacks your cells, your healthy cells. Now, I could elaborate a lot more on that, but I just wanted to make you aware of that this is associated with autoimmune disease. And we know there's a lot more of these. You hear an awful lot of people now with autoimmune diseases, so many of them. So I'm quickly going to just take you through the stages of sleep. So each sleep cycle is about 90 minutes, and we'd have maybe 4 or 5 of these a night. So stage 1, stage 2, these are very light sleep. Okay, this is just when you're nodding off to sleep. It usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes for you to actually fall asleep. If you're falling asleep within 5 minutes, I hear a lot of people bragging, saying, I only put my head on the pillow and I'm gone. I have no problem going to sleep. Well, I'm sorry to give you bad news, but that is a sign of sleep deprivation if you're falling asleep that quickly, okay? It really should take about between 15 and 20 minutes for you to fall asleep. If you want to test to see how long it is taking you to fall asleep, look up the sleep latency test on the internet, okay? That will help you to determine how long it takes for you to fall asleep. So stages 3 and 4, these are your deep sleep. This is where all the healing and repairing is done. This is where all your immune system cells are made. This is where your growth hormone is released. Your growth hormone is a fat burning hormone. I have a whole other talk about how you can lose fat, not just weight, because we wanted to lose the bad fat, how you can lose fat effectively by sleeping very well. And it's all to do with the hormones. And this is one of them. In stages 3 and 4, your growth hormone is released, which helps you grow and develop. A lot, the teenagers or young children would have a lot more of it because obviously they're growing, they're developing. So, but it's also a fat burning hormone as well. And then we have the REM sleep, which is very, it's our dream sleep. And it's responsible for our emotional health, our mental health. So it's really important that we get a lot of REM sleep. Now, I'm literally just making you aware of this. Again, I could expand a bit more, but that's just to give you an overview of the sleep stages. Now, stress is a massive factor in all of this. I spoke into the living a healthy lifestyle, and right now we're under so much stress. If you're worried, concerned, if you've got lots of fear, this is going to suppress your immune system. It's really important to be aware of this. And there's lots that you can do. It's really all about how you are, the conversation or the narrative that you're having with yourself. Because whatever you tell yourself, you believe. Your brain literally believes everything you tell yourself. I often say to people, 80% of success is really mindset, what you're telling yourself. And I know people talked a lot here about mindset and mindfulness there at the beginning of the talks. So it's really important to watch the language that you're using. Because this can create an awful lot of stress in itself. Again, that's a whole topic that you could talk about for a long, long time. But if you have high levels of stress, it's going to increase your cortisol, which is going to make it harder for you to relax at nighttime, wind down and fall asleep as well. And we do have two parts of our stress system. We have the fight or flight, which many of you have heard of. This is the stress response, fight, flight or freeze, and then the rest and digest. And I like to call it the rest and digest. I also like to call it stay and play. Stay and play is about being present in the moment and being playful, right? And I love that. I just heard somebody, I actually robbed that from somebody. I can't remember where I heard that from, but stay and play, be present and be playful, have fun with life. Life is just way too serious for people and we're stressing ourselves out with all the seriousness of life. So it's really important to have fun. Now, the thing that I want to point out here as well is with the flight or fight, we can only be in one of those two states at any time. And if you're consistently in the fight or flight, on alert, right, high cortisol, that actually turns down your digestive system. Okay, because if you're running away from a lion or a tiger, your body is not interested in digesting food. All your body is interested in is getting blood to the arms and the legs and getting you to run away as fast as possible. So all your blood is diverted from your digestive system. It's also diverted from your reproductive system. And it's also diverted from your immune system. Even if you have a virus, the virus is not going to kill you in the next 10 minutes like the lion possibly will. So this is how your body responds. And it's all from evolution. And this is how we were made and how we've been evolved. And the stress response works exactly the same. But the stress in our modern lifestyle now is constant all the time. And we need to be aware of that. That's why the mindfulness, the yoga, all these other great speakers really take on what they've been saying as well. Now, environmental influences, there's been lots of talk on the different toxins. Who was it? Louise spoke a lot about toxins in our environment. The bottled water that we're drinking, there's a lot of plastics, microplastics in there. The water out of the tap is full of crap, fluoride. The food that we're eating, all the pesticides, even the food that we're eating is depleted from our minerals. The air miles was mentioned a couple of times. So fruits are picked green. And really all the best part of the fruits is in that last stage where it's ripening. And that's been missed because it's been picked. And something in particular is we require essential sugars. Now, sugar is really, really bad for you, but there are essential sugars that the body actually needs. It's look up glycobiology. It will tell you all about that, these essential sugars. And if you take bananas, for example, they're picked green quite an awful lot. You see them in the supermarkets, they're green. Well, these sugars are produced in those bananas in the last stages where it's been ripened. Same with all the fruits. And that's been missed. So so it's really just so many factors to take, even EMF. There's so much technology nowadays and phones, and we're all on Zoom here now. And I know Joan's doing a great job, and we're all been great supporting her, but we need to take breaks from the computer. We need to step away from it, and just be conscious. Turn off your Wi-Fi at night time. Turn off Wi-Fi. Even if you're driving around in your car, turn the Wi-Fi off on your phone. You don't need Wi-Fi when you're in the car. You know what I mean? And there has been lots of studies, over 10,000 studies done now, on the effects of EMF and Wi-Fi on the body, right down to the cell. So it can't be emphasized enough. 5G is coming in now. So really watch out for that. I don't have time to extend on that, but really watch out for EMF and 5G. And there's things that you can do to help yourself. Okay. So, so melatonin and cortisol, I just want to quickly touch on the two of these. So cortisol is our stress hormone. Like I said, we do have this circadian rhythm that we really need to be aligned to. So it's a 24-hour cycle. Every living creature operates from this circadian rhythm. It's primarily influenced by daytime, by daylight. That's why I always tell people, get out and get sunshine first thing in the morning. So cortisol naturally highest in the morning. So cortisol is not entirely a baddie, right? We do need cortisol. It gets us up out of bed, right? It gives us a bit of strength and endurance, but it naturally is supposed to dissipate during the day, and in the evening time, the levels are supposed to be low. And this is where melatonin comes in then. So you can only have one or two. They work indirectly with each other. So you can only have, if you've got cortisol flooding around in your body, you can't have melatonin. Okay. So cortisol naturally declines during the daytime and in the evening when melatonin starts to increase, allowing the onset of sleep and for you to sleep during the nighttime through all those different stages and the cycles I spoke about earlier. Now, we spoke a lot about gut health as well. What I want to draw your attention to is serotonin, which is our feel-good, one of the feel-good hormones. This is made up to 90% in the gut. This is where we talk about mood and the gut-brain connection. But serotonin is a precursor to melatonin. In other words, we need serotonin to make our melatonin. Melatonin's our sleep hormone. And melatonin is made up to 400 times more in the gut. Imagine. So we really, really, really need to look after our gut. So much goes on in our gut. The microbiome is responsible for so many things. The microbiome actually speaks to our immune system. It's an intelligent species, and it speaks to so many different parts of our body, and it just has everything operating so smoothly, from making vitamins and helping to absorb vitamins. It does so much, but it's also very much related to sleep as well, with all these neurotransmitters as well that's involved in the whole sleep process. Now, stress and the vagus nerve, somebody spoke about the vagus nerve, and I just love that, because the vagus nerve is what actually switches between these two different states that I spoke about in the nervous system. And she mentioned humming and gargling and singing. All these things can activate the vagus nerve. Okay, and what's great about the vagus nerve is it's the longest cranial nerve, and it goes through every single organ, so it has an impact on every part of your body, which will help to turn on that parasympathetic nervous system, the stay and play or the rest and digest part of the body, which helps to activate your digestive system, your reproductive system, your immune system, which also helps you to relax and be able to wind down for the onset of sleep. So it's really, really, really important. Now, I'm coming near the end. This is going really, really quick, and I have so much that I could talk to you about. Another thing, 90% of people bring their phones to bed with them at night. Stop doing that. Look at these two in the bed here together, right? They're totally ignoring each other. They're not present with each other, right? There's even been people been jealous of their partner because they think they love their phone more than them, right? So it sounds really hilarious, but it's true. That's what's happening, right? Stop bringing your phones to bed. Between the EMF, the blue light blocks melatonin. It also stimulates your brain. It creates more dopamine. Dopamine is an excitatory neurotransmitter, and you don't want to be excited when you're going to bed at nighttime. You want to wind down and relax. So soon, all these things, just stop bringing your phones to bed at nighttime. Leave them in a different room. Like, for God's sakes, just put your phones down. That's enough. That's all I'm going to say on that, because I have a pet hate about mobile phones in the bedrooms. Yeah, and this here EMFs disturb the immune function as well through stimulation of various allergic, oh God, I can't even talk, allergic and inflammatory responses. Yeah, it creates a lot of inflammation, and behind every disease is inflammation, isn't it? So anyway, there's a whole talk I could do on that and how it affects the immune system. Mind how you're talking about sleep. Do you say things like, I don't have time to sleep, I've more important things to do, I'll catch up on the weekend, I'll sleep when I'm dead? These are all things. Sleep is for wimps. People go around and say, I only need 4 hours of sleep, I'm grand, like they're wearing the badge of honor. You might feel grand, but you're coping and you're getting used to it. But I guarantee you, if you go in a sleep lab test, look at the T cells that your body is producing, and it will show you some other factors. And you can definitely, I could almost guarantee you would have a better quality of life if you slept a little bit more. Now, not everybody needs 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And it's up to each one of us to find out what it is that we need. But 4 hours of sleep is definitely not, you need more than that. And I love this quote by Henry Ford: whether you think that you can or you can't, you're usually right. So it's back to your beliefs. Whatever you tell your brain's going to believe. Okay. So really quickly, 5 top tips: morning routine, get out and get sunshine. It switches off that the melatonin, switches off the melatonin. Create a wind down routine, really, really important. Sleep is not a non-off switch. You need to do at least an hour or two. Turn off your devices as well. I'd say 2 hours before bed. Avoid caffeine and alcohol. Caffeine is a stimulant. It takes a long time to break down. Alcohol, it may get you asleep, but it's going to impact your REM sleep, your dream sleep. Lots of studies to show on that. And be consistent. Your body loves a routine, so be consistent. Wake up and go to bed at the same time every night. There is my contact details if anybody wants to take them down. And also my book, How to Get a Good Night's Sleep. I'll put the link in the chat. And anyone buying that book, you will get a free audio. I do have this available in audio, so you will get a free audio when you buy the book as well. Do subscribe to my Empowering Family Health podcast as well. And that is it. We're on to questions now. If anyone has any questions, I'll just stop sharing my screen there. Am I all right for time, Joan?
Absolutely. I could listen to you all day now without nodding off, I might add. Yeah, that was fantastic. I'm interested in that sleep latency test that you talked about.
Yeah, it's basically if you go to bed, go up to your bed, bring a spoon, and if you've carpet on your floor, just bring a tray up with you, right? And the whole idea is you're lying in bed, you have the spoon in your hand, and you're just falling asleep. And when you actually nod off, when you start going into stage 3 or whatever, you will drop that spoon, you'll drop on the tray, it'll make a noise and it'll wake you up. So you just time yourself through all that process. That's basically what it is. Yeah.
Wow. Never heard of that before. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, that was fabulous. I could listen to you all day. You have so much information there. And I also want to say that Joanne is also offering a free consultation with anyone who wants to take her up on it. You can leave a message with her in the chat below. Is there anyone who would like to have any questions there?
Jackie and Shirley have questions.
Oh, great. Go on ahead. I'm on the wrong screen.
Jackie,
go on ahead.
Ladies first.
Hi.
Ladies first.
Yeah.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Joanne. Yeah, that was wonderful. God, so much brilliant information, really inspiring me to take care of my sleep. A couple of little questions. You know, when you said about bananas, because I eat a banana a day, with my breakfast. Like if they ripen at home, so they've got like the brown dots on them, are they producing the right sugar at that point? Even though they've
not the same. They really should be picked ripe from the tree. Like a lot of the fruits are picked too early. So it's not having the same process. Banana, but there is still, you've got your potassium, magnesium. They're really, really important, those minerals. Magnesium, so many people are deficient in magnesium, like up to 80% of people. And magnesium is a natural tranquilizer, if you like. It does over 300 jobs in the body. One of them is to help you to relax, turn down that nervous system. Mm-hmm. I often tell people, get some magnesium flakes. Because some people find it hard to absorb. So you can take a supplement, but your greens, you'll get it a lot in your greens. You get it in your bananas, but you can also get do it in your bath. It will absorb transdermally. You can get sprays, magnesium oil sprays. You can get in your chemist and just spray it. It's great if you've got muscle cramps or a sore back or sore shoulders. We all have sore shoulders, so just spray it on, and it helps. So,
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, and the other, sorry, quick question. You're saying about turn off all your devices. So I have no problem turning the computer and the phone off, but of course I want to watch TV until I go to bed. So like what I do is I put them brown glasses on, them glasses that
very
block
good.
the blue
Block
light.
it.
So is that enough? Is that enough to wear them before I go to bed, or should I not be watching TV at all, to get the quality sleep?
There's different rules of thumb. Look, if you are having really if you're having really challenging problems getting to sleep, I wouldn't look at the TV at all. However, if you're not that bad and you're wearing the blue blocking glasses, because some people like that as part of their wind down routine, and not everybody would say that, but mind the content of, like, don't watch horrors or thrillers on the TV program before you go to bed, because that's the last thing that's been processed in your brain. Watch a comedy or something like that.
Okay.
Even if you're
nature,
like content in any, like even if you're reading a book, don't read a horror book. Do you know what I mean? Don't read a thriller, and also read something that's totally different than, like say if you're a health coach, don't read stuff that's related to your job at nighttime right before you go to bed. Read a fictional book or something. Read something else,
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
Thank you,
okay, thank you. Yeah, really great information. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie.
A great event, Joan.
Good. That's great. Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Joan. Yeah.
You sound like Harish at this stage.
It's a great position to be in. Power.
Yeah.
It's some really useful tips. Thank you for that. And it's made me aware of how important sleep is, really, and the fact that I'm possibly not getting enough. I was just wondering, you were talking about various types of sleep. How much deep sleep should we be getting? I'm getting probably just over an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes, according to my watch.
Okay. So ideally, whatever, like some people would be 6 hours, some people would be 8 hours of sleep, a night. So depending on what it is, 25%, about 20 to 25% of your total sleep time should be deep sleep in total. And the first half of the night is where we primarily do most of our deep sleep. That's where we do most of our deep sleep, is in the first half of the night. And in the second half of the night is where we do most of our dreaming. And a lot of people have actually reported now with this pandemic, it's interesting. A lot of people are sleeping in later now because they're not having to get up and travel to work. So a lot of people are sleeping in now, and there's a lot of more people now having dreams, and the reports of vivid dreams and everything, because we are allowing our body to maximize it. We're having more time to dream because we dream more in the second half of the night. So there's a lot more people experiencing dreams now because they're having lie-ons. They're not getting up as early as they used to. Thought that was interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, no, I also learned that turning off Wi-Fi, actually, which I kind of leave back on. I try and leave the phone at the end of the bed rather than beside the bedside table to resist temptation.
Turn it on flight mode. If you do have your phone in the room, turn it on flight mode. Your alarm will still work.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just put that link, howtogetaggoodnightsleep.com. I just put it into the chat if anyone wants to take that.
And I just see a message here, Siobhan, from Siobhan for Joanne. I've just noticed my sleep is being more disturbed from listening to all the talk of menopause. I think this is why. Is there anything us women going through menopause can do?
Yeah, it's all about balancing the hormones, and really what it is balancing progesterone, the estrogen. There's lots of herbs, ashwagandha. Go into your health shop and speak to them in the health shop, and there's lots of herbs that you can take that will naturally help to balance phytoestrogens. There's a lot of foods that you can eat that will. Somebody mentioned flax seeds there as well. That's really good balancing the hormones. But you can go into your health shop and just be mindful, like don't eat sugar and all the usual shitty stuff, like, do you know what I mean? Like the obvious stuff. And just really mind what you're eating, mind, get your exercise, the usual things, make sure you can at least 30 minutes walking or whatever, movement. It's movement, not even exercise. That's really, really important. Get your lymph moving around, make sure you're getting enough sleep, and just be mindful of how you're talking to yourself about sleep. I get into my bed every night and I go, oh, I love my bed and I'm dying for my sleep now tonight. And it sounds a bit mad, but I do. And that creates an association, and that I'm, some people go to bed and go, oh God, I hope I can sleep well tonight. Don't say that, because you're setting yourself up then, that thought is in your head. So really be careful what you're saying. And as I said, 80% of success is the mind.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I think you did answer Marie's question, does reading before bed help? So just to keep it light, I think.
Yeah, it does. Just mind the content of what you're reading in the book. That's it.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Is there time for one more question?
Yes, go on ahead, Jackie.
Just wondering, Joan, people say that the hours before midnight are kind of worth twice the hours after. Is that true? Because I am starting to get to bed earlier.
Yeah, I'd look into
would you say that helps get to bed?
Yeah, I'd look into that, because look up the Chinese clock, the Chinese meridian clock. In association with the circadian rhythm. So really quickly, our organs have like a 2-hour window where it's optimal. So the liver is 1 to 3. That's where most of our detoxification is done. And it's no coincidence that most of our deep sleep is in the first half of the night, because all our healing, repairing, and our liver is working at that time. So if you are going to bed after 12 o'clock, you are reducing the optimization of your deep sleep and your healing and repairing. So that's where that comes from. Hope that answers you, Jackie.
Okay, thank you. So what would be optimum then? Like 10 p.m. would that be a good time? Like, what's the optimum time, would you say?
Yeah, 10 p.m. is a good time.
What's the optimum time to get to bed?
Yeah, we're all individuals, okay? So you don't want to be too strict on it. It could be different times, and then we all have different amount of sleep that we need as well. But ideally, if you can get to bed before 12 o'clock. Now, there are night owls and there's morning larks that we need to take into account as well. So night owls, some of it is generational, but it's only a very small percentage. Some people call themselves night owls, but they're not true night owls. It's bad habits. I'm sorry. So but yeah, ideally before 12 o'clock, whether it's, now if I go to bed at 12:15, I notice the difference. If I went to bed at 11:45, it's not so bad. I don't know why, it's just after midnight. But I do go to bed at 10 myself, and I'll read for a little bit and then I'll go to sleep. That's what I do. But ideally, just 12 o'clock, get to bed before 12 would be my, if you can.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for answering.
Wonderful. That was fabulous, Joanne, as I knew it would be. And
you're doing a great job, Joan.
None of us nodded off.
Joan, I just really quickly, before I go on to the next speaker, I just really want to acknowledge you for what you're doing here. It's fantastic. Just getting everybody together. I know it's been an awful lot of work for you, but just getting everybody together and really empowering people. It's just, it's such a gift.
It has been wonderful. It really is. I'm very interested.
Yeah.
Thank you. And every one of you. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, Joanne, and I'll talk to you later.